Hey, can anyone hear me? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Who's uh who's on point for this? Is Courtney here yet?
No, she's not logged in yet.
Yeah, okay.
How about that USA game, right? Am I right?
Uh can we mute Paco? Um
So I would just like to point out for the record that our first match back from the break is versus New York City.
ooh.
Yeah,
Let's go Columbus. Let's make us proud.
we have a proud history of letting people who aren't from Columbus hear it when the time is appropriate.
I assume you're referring to Freeze, which is fair, but he was 1/11th of that disaster. So
That was one big
it's
11th, though.
Big 11th next to Tim Reams, man. The two of them.
yeah, in fairness,
Look.
Tim Ream is as the old guy. Tim Ream is 74 years old, guys. Come on, I went to high school with him. I know this. It's
So all I'm saying is that a goalkeeper spends a half in front of our section, and maybe we should make him aware of our opinions.
we probably should. I forget who on Belgium scored that goal, but we should definitely maybe chant that person's name at some point to remind him.
I have perhaps too profane of a response to make him forget it, but not forget it rather. But
I don't know if there's such thing as too profane with our group. It's,
I mean, I'm just saying, if the ball's at his feet and people start chanting "you effed up," I mean, that might be fair
appropriate.
game.
Mm-hmm. That might be fun. That will be yeah.
I mean,
And it's a
look,
Wednesday night game, so that yeah.
3 points are on the line. All's fair game at that point.
Or just chant "stay in the box" like you should have done.
Well, there's the old classic U.S. reject.
Yeah. I will just remind everyone something about people in glass houses. I can think of at least two Schulte goals against Acosta and in Monterey where he gave up basically the exact same goal. But
That's fine. That is entirely fair, Curtis. There
Yeah,
is
but it
one
wasn't
key
for the
there,
World Cup.
there is one key difference between Matt Freese and Patrick Schulte, and it's that one of them plays for Columbus and one of them doesn't.
touche.
Just to throw this out there, Miles Robinson also played some pretty terrible defense, and he plays for Cincinnati. So we've kind of got some.
Yeah, we have a full week of it. Yeah.
I'm just
Can someone dress up as like the Freeze from the Batman movie? Because Freeze just totally froze up on those last couple shots, and I don't know if I can get something together in time for that, but I think that would be pretty epic.
that's
That
offensive to Arnold Schwarzenegger. We can't be doing that.
Offensive to Arnold Schwarzenegger. That is Columbus royalty, Brad. You don't mock him. So that's actually really good. That's a good idea. But yes, Norm, that is well said. We will definitely have to find something fun to remind Mr. Freese of what we all thought about that.
Hey, to Bethany's point, we don't have enough elected members in here for quorum. We can have the meeting, but we just can't vote on anything.
Okay.
Well, do we have enough deputies on the call representing those departments, though? Right?
It looked like Rick would be for creative.
And Alicia for chair.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here for comms. Like we have enough deputies. Like we can.
And I'm here for Justin if Justin's not on.
Yeah.
So
like
Okay.
we have enough people to have a meeting. It's just frustrating that we're not quite all there. Okay.
Well, I mean, if anyone needs to pour a beer, now's the time.
I've got 614 movie night down at Kosai, so I'm getting ready to leave the house soon. Can I can we jump ahead to partnership stuff and I just put it all out there, and then I'll catch up on the executive session and stuff later when I talk to Courtney later tonight or tomorrow morning, if y'all don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. So partnerships were all good for the second half of the year. We had a decent turnout at Spires Brewing the Beer. It was a fun time for everyone that was there. I know we all had some good laughs and everything. Alex really enjoyed the turnout that was there. He's very much open to doing it again. So I'm sure we can come up with something, whether we come up with, I would love to come up with a beer maybe to start each season. If it's something that we go to, like, hey, just kind of a way to get people together in the off season to kind of have one coming forward and whatnot. I believe Rick is working on kind of a design or something for it, but I wanted to, with the Mexican lager style, I'll drop it in the chat later tonight or tomorrow, come up with a couple names in the leadership chat, and then we'll put it out to the general public for them to kind of decide on the final name for the beer, and then we'll get that out there. And then on the supported
before we jump subjects.
Yep.
So the beer that was brewed, is that just going to tailgate?
It is just going to tailgate because we only brewed enough for one keg.
That's why I figured it was, but I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure there was one out there.
So he'll tap it at the tailgate, and Lord forbid we don't kill it. I'll ask him to can what's left over, but I'm pretty sure that we'll kill the one keg that he's bringing of it there. But go ahead, Paco.
I just said challenge accepted.
Nice. Switching gears to the Supporters Derby, Curtis and I have been working hard on this. We met with representative from the Bailey one night at Land Grant to kind of go over stuff. We've got all the details laid out. I'm really hoping it goes to we're hoping it ends in a tie because we're not going OT. We're going old school PK kicks where it's taken from the center and the goalie has free range to come out and do whatever they want. Just because we are going old school like that, and it was awesome at the time, and there might have been a PK at the time we decided this, and so we just went with it because we didn't like what was going on in the World Cup. But the locations, so Fortress is unavailable. Obviously, HCS is too cost prohibitive right now. Hilliard City Schools does not have any openings for it right now. Hayes Valley High School is willing to do it, but they're willing to charge us a fee for it. And then we also have the Cage that that Courtney reached out to, and they're willing to do it and provide a couple refs and charge no fee for it. So really just kind of open discussion, or I can drop it in the chat and we can decide on what we want to do as far as the location. But Curtis and I do have a video that Ashley shot and edited for us that we're going to put out there as a recruitment video and get that out there. And I'd like to start recruiting early next week for it to kind of get it out there.
It's worth, real quick, to build upon what Brad said. Thank you, Brad. I think you said 100% accurate. The Cage would be indoor. It'd be basically indoor game. And we reached out to Cinti to make sure they were okay with that. I will say they didn't love it, but they would accept it, if we basically didn't have another option. They preferred outdoor, like a traditional outdoor game, which our only option is Tees Valley High School, which is south of Columbus. Not ideal. We've literally reached out to every high school on the west or south side of Columbus. Grove City's not available. Central Crossing's not available. Brad and I have reached out to all of them. So it's really just Tees Valley and the Cage are the two options right now. One's indoor, basically free. One's outdoor, and it's $250 an hour. We probably need 3 hours, minimum 2, maybe 3 hours. If we want to do that. So call it $500, maybe $750 would be the price on that.
And I can definitely, if we go the route of Tees Valley and have it outside, I can definitely reach out to our partners, see if anyone kind of wants to help kind of offset the final cost, as well as if we decide to charge an admission, maybe have some of that money go towards offsetting the cost, as well as some going to the community aspect of it.
So does a motion essentially just need to happen, not in this call because there's not a quorum, but like is that
Correct?
the
Yeah.
only thing that needs to happen next?
I'll
drop it in the motions channel later tonight after the meeting or first thing tomorrow morning, and we can go from there with it.
Well, I think we first need to just get what's people's thoughts. Like the motion, we probably decide which one do we want. Do we want the Cage or do we want the Tees Valley? And then we'll just do yay nay on the motion. So I know there's a lot of apprehension, understandably so, about, more expensive options. So Brad and I kind of revisited this, found a couple, one free, one cheap option, or cheaper at least. What are people's thoughts on that?
I like both options, but I am absolutely not for charging admission to this. I don't think it's a good look. I don't think people are going to want to come to that, especially being the first time we do it. Really should gauge interest first, and it should just be a fun thing. They shouldn't have to pay for it.
And sorry, admission was not the right word. The whole aspect was a donation at the gate, where whatever was donated, half of that would go towards a charity partner, and the other half would go to maybe cover some expenses if there were any outstanding expenses. So really, that's still kind of up in the air. But there's no set. Hey, you've got to pay $5 to get in. It's kind of one of those, donate if you want to, but you don't have to.
Okay.
Courtney and I have also reached out to somebody at Cushfield Wakeman. They have stupid, ridiculously dumbass rich sponsors who would like to get involved with more of the community aspect.
Okay.
So we've put an ask out for them, highlighting some of the bigger things that we have going on. We sent it on Monday, Tuesday night, something like that this week, about if there's anything that they have that they're willing to sponsor. They know some people over at Anheuser-Busch, and just a lot of little community people that are willing to just give you money so that you go away, basically.
Right. Okay, awesome. No, I appreciate that.
So there's a few. We haven't heard back anything, but we did highlight specifically for this month, Hell is Real. Next month, I think we highlighted Pachuca.
Okay.
And then Miami. We just tried to pick some of the bigger sort of events that we have coming up. And then with the cage, we do have to let them know semi quickly. They do have an entire, they have food too.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also sort of a benefit. There's not really anything in Taze Valley that you could, you're sort of limited on what you're getting, especially if you're driving straight from Cincinnati. Once you get past basically the outlets, there's not going to be much food until you get to Grove City.
Yep. And that the food option was one, again, once we decide on a location, if we do Taze Valley, I know we've got our partnerships with the Walrus, Pecan Pennies and stuff like that, as well as Condado and Donatos. Can reach out to them, see if any of them would be willing to donate to the cause, food or whatever, anything like that.
Do we also know where they're going to plan on having the Cincinnati half of this?
I think it was last we talked, it was mentioned somewhere at FCC's practice facilities, but I don't know that they nailed something down 100%. And trust me, I pitched that idea to the front office when Curtis and I were emailing back and forth, hey, FCC's willing to let the second leg be at their practice facilities at no cost, and they didn't even budge on that. Nor did they budge when I say, hey, well, we're just trying to do something and generate talk for the game, and you guys are more than welcome to come out and shoot B-roll that you can use at the game and stuff. And they're like, nope, we're firm on our price.
Yeah. Their statement was, we're giving it to you for free, but you still have to cover all of the ancillary cost, which is, EMTs and security and all that shit. So to Brad's point, they wouldn't budge on that. But in their eyes, they're giving it to us for free because they're not charging us a rental fee on top of all that other stuff. So without doing a formal vote, what are people's, by the way, Emily, I think I saw your hand up, Emily. I want to make sure we don't cut you off. Did you have a question or thought?
Yeah, I had a question about the food and stuff, but that was answered. But thank you.
All right, no problem. Any other kind of just high level, yay, nay, kind of, people leaning one way or the other? Because we really want to make this not just the Brad and Kurt show, but, make this an actual group decision here. So what are people's thoughts on, if you had to choose between those two options, because I think we're down to those two, between the cage as an indoor game, the advantage there is food's on site, beer's on site, and it's free. So, nice advantages there. The advantage of Tees Valley is it's a little bit closer to Cincy, so maybe a little more convenient for them, and it's an outdoor field. So I think it's turf. It might be grass. I'd have to go back and check. I think it's turf. Either way, it's an outdoor field. Where are people leaning on that?
I I personally would prefer to use the cage for just a couple of reasons. I mean, I'm not playing, so I really don't feel like my opinion matters that much, but I think it would be a good thing for us to utilize our partners, and they've offered that up. There's lots of conveniences around being there. And also we tend to run into weather being in Ohio. And I just worry that, if it's outside, if we have to postpone it or cancel it or whatever, it kind of like, ruins all the hard work that you guys did to get here. So it might be a safer bet to use the cage.
Taze Valley is turf, by the way, just so you know.
Okay, thanks for looking that up. Appreciate that.
It is, I would say, if you're looking at ease of access to get to the location, like I'm looking right now at Google traffic, and it's going to be it's pretty far off the beaten path if you're looking at people from Cincinnati. You've got to deal with the Rickenbacker traffic that's going to be out there and everything else to get through Obetz. So we're not looking at something that's going to be, especially given the time that you're going to do it.
And which location is that, Alicia? Is this the cage or are you talking Taze Valley?
This is at Taze Valley.
Okay.
Like right now, the quickest route is an hour and 44 minutes from Cincinnati.
Okay.
But that's assuming that you take the most direct route and you're getting off 71. And then you're getting off the highway before Grove City and driving like up through to Asheville through Mount Sterling. If you come all the way up to Columbus, you're looking at roughly another 15, 20 minutes. And that's assuming that people are going to want to get off the highway that early. If you're trying to get to like Grove City or something, then you're going to have to contend with their, traffic to get something, grab something to eat, and then head out down 23. After you sit through the amount of construction that's already on 270 or on 6, good Lord, on 71. That's also going to hinder them getting here. If you're looking at like a 7:00 start, I mean, from Bexley right now, it's a 40 minutes.
Okay. Hey, I'm going to let Curtis kind of continue or wrap this discussion up. I got to hop off here and leave, but this is all good talk. Thanks for the input, guys. We'll relay back kind of on what's going on.
Perfect. Thanks, Brad. Norm, you have your hand up. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. I just want to add on that I think both are reasonable options. Like I think there's no like necessarily wrong answer here. I do kind of like romantically the idea of playing a game and then having the opportunity to have a meal or a beer or something and leave it on the field type message and aspect. Whereas like if you're going out to a place, you play the game and then it's like you all go your separate ways because it's going to be hard to organize anyone going anywhere from that point. And that's not huge, it wouldn't make or break anything, but I think there's a nice thing there to be done if it were at the cage.
Yeah, that was part of one of the benefits that we mentioned, Norm, was that idea that we don't really ever interact with, at the end of the day, we're all soccer fans living in Ohio. Like we have a lot in common. There should be, we make sure for different clubs, but should have some things we can all bitch about Matt Freese together. So we have something in common. So that's a valid point. Any other? Yeah, I want to make sure everyone's voice is kind of weighed in here. Anybody? And these were all really great points, by the way. I appreciate everyone. Paco, yeah.
Yeah, just my 2 cents. I agree with what Emily and Norman just mentioned. So yeah, I think the cage, at least for me, would probably be if we had to vote on one of the two, I think that would get my vote for all the valid reasons that everybody's kind of said. So nothing really more to add other than that.
Perfect. Thanks, Paco. Hey, Bethany, did you have something to add?
Yeah, just that I think that in light of the increasingly alarming financial reports we've been getting in the last few board meetings, I don't think, even if I love the idea of money going back to the community through the school system, I don't think spending money on this that we don't have to spend is the smart move right now. And I think with all the reasons everybody else gave, I think it really is just a smarter choice to go with the cage.
Yeah, that appreciate that, Bethany. And that makes a lot of sense. And there's one other benefit of the cage, which hasn't gotten mentioned, but maybe to add on to this is we have no idea what recruitment is going to be like this. I really hope that we get 2,200 people sign up, but I'm skeptical. With an indoor game, we're probably going to be playing, I'm going to guess 7-on-7 maybe, versus 11v11 if it's outdoors. So, it should be easier to, get some decent numbers. Is one maybe additional benefit.
It's like a half field. It's not even a full size field. So you're looking more on like a 5-on-5.
Okay. So yeah,
there's also 2 fields. So if we really did want to make it, if there were more people and we had enough to play, like a best of 3, that would also be an option. Or if you just wanted a place for like kids to run around and do stuff, there's another field that's an option. And they don't have a closing time really. So if it was something where we needed to wait and get started a little bit later because they hit traffic, we're not as locked in to we have to start at this time and we have to end at this time. We can just sit around and hang out.
Yeah, I like that. I think these are all really good points. Kind of pretty much. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut anyone off. Go ahead.
Oh, is that for me? I just had a question about that. I wanted to tell you something about that. I was talking to Ben's sister. She's one of the principals at Tays Valley, and she said I might be able to entice them to do it for free if you promise me some celebrity sightings. And I don't know if you guys are planning on having anyone attend the Derby, but if so, they might be willing to do it for free. So,
we can't commit to that. We have a tentative yes from Darlington, but. It's all through Felicia. She won't actually, she keeps telling me I'll just connect you with Darlington directly. I only have Felicia's phone number and so far she's not done so. So, it's not for sure. Thank you. I really appreciate you kind of chasing that down.
No problem. I'll tell her it's a maybe.
Yeah. I think the other points we're hearing, I think we're leaning towards the cage. And by the way, Alicia, I appreciate you. I just did the same thing you did. You said it was an hour 44 from Cincy to, Tees Valley High School. It's an hour 46 to the cage right now. So they're basically 6-1, half dozen the other. There's no benefit there. I think what I'm hearing is the cage
that you would look at though is if they are going to be staying in Columbus, obviously they're going to come up here. It's the added benefit of not driving another 35 minutes back into town to get to their hotel or their Airbnb, depending on where they're at. If they are staying closer to the stadium and fight your way through Columbus traffic twice, essentially, on a Friday night.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of make an executive decision here. I mean, we'll put it to a vote on Slack, whether we're doing it. Although with the cage, we're not looking at any sort of financial commitment from Nordecke. As far as I understand, Alicia, I know you and I had a long conversation with Courtney about this. It all sounds great. We do need to reach out and just confirm that it's still available because I think it's been a week or 2 since we talked to them. But Alicia, do you have contact information or is that Courtney that needs to go to them?
We can it's in our email. Either one of us can just reach out and let her know.
Okay. Yeah. If you don't mind doing that, just to confirm it's still available to make sure something else hasn't been booked up since we last talked. Because I don't want to officially let Tees Valley know that we're not using it until we know that the cage is there.
No, I guess Friday night is like open restaurant night. It's basically, we walked in when we did watch parties and there's always a field available. They don't have anything. I don't think at this point, they don't have any of their leagues or anything scheduled. So we should be good for, if you just reply to that message that I sent you guys in Slack and we'll email them. Cause they also have ample parking and, all the other stuff. It's on site. So you don't have to trek from a stadium back to your car or anything either.
That works. I'll reply to that now. And so real quick point of order, since we're doing this, we're assuming it's going to be the free of the cage. Do we need to put a vote up for this if there's no financial commitment from Nordecke? I guess I don't know if we need to or not. I don't know who that question would be to. Bethany, would that be a you question? I'm not sure who would be the right person to answer that.
If we need to put a vote to using the cage when there's no financial commitment.
Yeah.
I don't think there would need to be a vote on it because we're not spending money and it's not I can't.
I think it's just a consensus thing. There doesn't need to be an official motion.
Okay.
Just
Okay,
if you're
Courtney.
wanting everyone to be on board with the location and everything, like you said, just kind of, it doesn't need to be an official motion, but you can just kind of say like everyone good with the cage thumbs up thing. That's fine.
That works. We'll put that up. Hey, Norm.
I was just going to chime in that you don't need to, but you could choose to if you think it's the most expeditious way to confirm a consensus.
That works. Yeah, I'll put one up just to make sure it's all on the up and up. Okay, cool. Appreciate everyone's insight on that. That was a great conversation, and I think we have made a decision. So appreciate it, everyone.
One other thing before we get off this topic. I think we should make a graphic of some sort for you to give to these Bailey people. So that with directions and just sort of a little, this is where we're going. This is sort of what they offer. So that kind of like an actual invite that they can give out to their members. So once they do have something, they can forward it because, I mean, it's fairly simple to get there. You drive up 71, you get on 270, you get off at Hamilton, and then you turn, you get off on Broad, go down to Hamilton, and it's right off Hamilton. So it's not like super difficult to get to, but just sort of a basic, if this is where you're coming from, so that they have the address and everything, that we can send them something nice, which also forces them to send us back something nice. Once this is over, so that we get directions and stuff, so we at least look like we're trying to be good hosts.
That's a good call. I like that. I'll work with comms to get something put together on that. I appreciate that. And a quick point on that with regards to comms, really appreciate Ashley's help. We after the smoke training we did a couple weeks ago, Ashley, Brad, and I stuck around and recorded a little video. Ashley did an amazing job editing it. Despite Brad and I's subpar acting skills, still looks really good. We wanted to kind of go to social media and kind of use that for recruitment. Have I heard correctly that like early in the week, like Monday, we get better engagement than later in the week? Is that an accurate our memory that I have about our social media?
It's a better question for Fatih, but as far as I'm aware, that's typically correct.
All right. I don't think Fatih's on, so I'll reach out to her on Slack just to confirm that. But if so, we can push it till Monday and then hopefully get that pushed out. I'll talk to her directly on that. All right. Cool. So I think that's it on the supporter. I forgot the one final thing. This is big. So we tentatively have a name. So we thought about this. Courtney's aware of this already. So we thought about, okay, we have Hell is Real at the top, right, with the main club. We have Heck is Plausible with the MLS Next Pro clubs. So we thought, what can we kind of keep that, hierarchy going down further? So the tentative working name is Shucks is Debatable. So going from Hell to Heck to Shucks, and then from, real to plausible to debatable. So, and what's more Midwestern than the word shucks? And it's funny to say. So that is the working title that we have for the third leg of our rivalry derby. So, all right, now I'm officially done.
Okay. Do we want to jump back to chair updates?
Okay, I'm figuring life out. Sorry. I don't think we have too many. I think all of my updates are kind of within committees and sub things and all of that. Alicia, did we have anything that I am missing specifically? Oh, I'm a liar. I have motions I want to do. Okay. First motion, if everyone has attended a Hell is Real match within the last couple of years, we've kind of started a tradition with like Smoke Out Cincy. And I've kind of reached out to some of the fine folks at Black Flag. They want to smoke out meat again. That benefits the entire tailgate. And it's the biggest tailgate after Christmas of the year. And we like to make this one a little bit bigger. So this is kind of the exception one. And I did want to motion that Nordecke continues that tradition and we contribute $300 to covering the meat that Black Flag will smoke and bring to tailgate.
Second.
I'm giving a thumbs up right now. Is that what I have to do?
No, hold on. I'm gonna go through and ask everybody to read it off. I was just typing out the motion. Who was it that seconded it? I didn't catch it.
Justin.
Thank you.
Is $300 100%?
What?
Is
Does
$300 going to be 100% of the cost?
Yes.
Okay. For votes, chair.
Yes.
I figured, but I have to ask.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention real quick, sorry, Bethany, is that the meats that they get are brisket and pork butt. Just to tickle everyone's fancy. Okay, Bethany, so sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay. For comms, I'll vote yes. Creative.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Justin.
Yep.
Sarah.
Yes.
Paco.
C.
Emily.
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 6. Am I missing anybody? Are there
Norm. Not Norm. Sorry.
No. Both of the game days are
I
here?
just see Norm.
Okay. Motion's passed.
We don't have Brad at the moment, so there's just going to be no vote from partnerships.
Yep.
And then that one's great because we kind of push that and then we usually push or at least put an ask in for like all the other supporting tailgates and people that tailgate to do like all the sides to kind of support it too. Which is really nice. So it's a good community one and everyone kind of comes in and you get like 10 different kinds of cornbread and beans and different stuff like that, all kind of grilled out stuff. So it's a fun one. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate that. Second motion I have, so I did reconnect with Will, on behalf of Viva for the Pachuca game. They are all in, they're looking to get their socials and stuff to us. Once we get those kind of graphics and handles, we'll pass that along to comms team. But they are going to set up for Pachuca. They're still donating between the 30 and 40 bottles of tequila for that Friday night Leagues Cup match. And they are going to set up a tent. They're going to do margaritas and tequila shots for everyone. And Viva, they make their own syrups in-house for their margaritas, and they're all organic made. That's probably the only alcohol I've had in 6 months where I sipped their Crew one, and it was a passion fruit and it had black salt on it and a little like cocktail little pick thing with stars on it. So they're really excited. I'm really excited. So I wanted to motion for a pair of tickets, both one pair for Bill and one pair for oh my gosh, Juliana, thank you. At Viva to have for the Pachuca game, since that is a game that we have our full allotment of tickets for. Sorry, Norm, go ahead.
Yeah, so assuming this passes, I just want to say I think it would be a really good idea to advertise this early and often as a part of the tailgate, more so than we would for a normal tailgate. And the reason is reminder, this is the match we have 150 tickets to sell for on a Friday night for Leagues Cup. And so I think that if people realized it was more of a party than normal, that might tilt them in favor of purchasing and coming.
You can advertise it as my birthday party. My birthday's on Monday and you're all going to murder me. So I don't want anybody to remember that's actually my birthday because that tequila scares me.
Well, we're gonna have a lot of tequila shots pushed your way, is what I'm hearing.
I'm
And
gonna
also, I mean, I don't think anyone has forgotten this because it's, people don't forget, but Pachuca, I think, has been circled on a lot of people's lists, especially it being part of a season ticket member package. So, we want to go big, and it's a revenge match, basically. And personally, for the players we still have that were in Pachuca and got food poisoned, and that there's no conspiracy theory, it absolutely 100% happened because I ate at that hotel and I did not die. And if anyone should have died there in Mexico, it should have been me. But yeah, it's a revenge match, and I know all those players are hyped and excited, so we got to get people in the seats and get them hyped and excited too, because it's going to be a good old school feisty match.
That's all 2 of the players that are left.
Now, Bush was there, Malty was there, Farsi was there. I can name more than 2.
But no more than 3 because that's where you stopped.
I thought we should move it along, but I can name. I will put a list in Slack of all the players that were there.
Transfer window's not closed yet, Courtney. Don't count your chickens yet. So
Max Harfson, Steve Morera.
shut up. Okay, but we do have the motion. So do we have someone that wants to second for the motion to donate a pair of tickets to Bill and a pair of tickets to Juliana for Pachuca?
second.
Okay, Courtney,
C.
Curtis,
Yep.
Emily,
Yes.
Brent,
Yeah.
Justin,
Aye.
Paco,
Glottal.
Sarah.
Yes.
I'm gonna say we on behalf of comms. And I think that is all 8 votes. Okay. The motion passes.
Thank you, everybody. And then I think that's all we have, Alicia, unless I'm forgetting anything, because I think our other ones are kind of with committee and whatnot.
Correct. That was the end.
Okay. Comms, we don't have any updates. I don't think, Fati, did you have anything that you needed to update?
No updates. Just have all the social stuff queued up for the week. And let us know if you need anything else.
Go ahead, Norm.
Yeah, just now that Fati's on the call, question that we had from earlier, I want to make sure gets pushed to you. What's the best engagement time of the week for posts?
That's a good question. I don't have any hard stats on that. I can look at the Instagram and see exactly what they have because they have insights for each post. So I can get back to you on that specifically. I do know though, it's not really time of day necessarily, but naturally when it gets closer to match day, those 3-4 days before is when you get the most either engagement in posts or responses in DMs. And then right after, whether it's a home or away game, that usually is when I see the most. But I don't know if there's any hard stats behind it, but I can look into that and let you know.
Thank you. And I have one other thing just to push you guys' way, which is recently I took to starting to look into the stats more deeply about when we get traffic on particular things we're pushing on the website. And I want to say that in particular, we are getting a lot of pickup on the newsletter driving traffic to the things that we put out there during the week. So and this is true during the Hell is Real lottery, which I'm sure we'll discuss, but also I even tracked it this week, and you can really see the effect when we're pushing things out into them getting to the website, which means that your efforts are very appreciated and helpful.
I agree. I usually get at least 1 or 2 additional volunteers signing up the day that the newsletter goes out. So I see that traffic as well.
Okay, community updates.
Yeah, so we have Mid-Ohio Food Bank this Saturday. I know it's kind of a busy weekend, so it's so far lightly signed up for. So it is what it is. I know that they can use always the help that we have for them there. So, if you know of anyone that's looking to volunteer, steer them that way. I did have a new person reach out to me. They are with an organization that benefits breast cancer survivors and their families. And they, the person who reached out to me was steered to me through my ticket rep, which was awesome. She's a new season ticket member, and she's also working with the front office. What their organization does is they look to do like fun events, uplifting and entertaining, and to bring some like good things to the people's lives that are being impacted by breast cancer, like give them something to take their mind off of regular life. And so a lot of the things that they do are tickets to games and things like that. So she's working with the front office and has already gotten tickets for the October 24th game, but she wants to integrate their group into match day stuff. So like they want to be involved in like tailgate and whatever the fun stuff that we do. So she had asked how we could work together to include their group. She specifically asked about the March the Match. I wasn't sure if we had one planned for that day, but I was bringing it to the group to see if anyone else had any ideas of how we could make that really fun match for those families.
Yeah, there'll be a march that day.
Sweet.
So if you want to, we can connect at some point.
Okay.
Put them in the front or whatever we need to do to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's the best day of their lives.
Yeah. Thanks. So would anyone be opposed if I haven't even asked them yet if they want to even have a tent at tailgate, but if I offered a spot where they could have their own space at tailgate, kind of like, I don't know how they might feel about that if it's their first time doing a tailgate. I don't want to scare anyone away, but if we at least give them a space and near us and kind of take them under our wings and make that a fun day for them, would anyone be opposed if I maybe offered up a tailgate spot for them?
What's the name of the organization?
Oh, I knew someone was going to ask. Gotta look. Hold on a second. Let me look.
I just like to make sure there's not any weird affiliations with stuff.
Yeah, I kind of looked at myself.
Okay.
Let me look it up here and I will tell you. Sorry, just give me a sec.
How about that USA team? Am I right?
It was really wild. At the end of the game, nobody wanted to sing Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA, and I was very disappointed.
It's called the Karen Wellington Foundation.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure it was, something.
Yeah, I peeked around on the website too and looked to see like who. I think it was started by some friends of a woman that was lost to cancer. They're out of Cincinnati. Their national headquarters, but they have chapters now in different places.
I'd rather use them than Stephanie Spielman.
Agreed.
Yeah. So in October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I felt like that was also appropriate.
Idea. If there's a march for the match and we want them to be a part of it, we could give them pink smoke.
Love it.
Norm,
Or
you
if
have your
anyone
hand
with
up.
boobies wanted pink smoke, anyone with boobies could do pink smoke. And guess what? Everybody has boobies.
So the thing that I was waiting on was just to clarify the earlier point Paco had. For most matches, and Paco can correct me if he feels I'm off base here. For most matches, we do have some form of what you would consider a march or a forward-facing thing. So we either have been having, of course, the team arrival, which still feels like the end of a march because that's where every of our marches ends up. And then we have marches to the match for larger games that are more extensive. So I think that either way, they would feel special to an outside group. And there's always something regardless. It's just a question of scale.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to ask before I relayed back what actually they could expect for that game. And so, we have a couple months until that, but I can work with her to see what works best with their group and come back to talk to you guys and just make sure that it's appropriate and what they're looking for as well. So I just wanted to throw all those things out there.
And I apologies if you already said it. I was just looking it up while we were talking. This is Toronto, because this is 10:24. This is Toronto, and this is a early start as far as these things go. This is a 3:30 start.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that.
So when we're talking pre-match stuff, we're talking, let's see, gates are going to be at 2, so we're talking probably in the 1:30 range. Which feels early for me, not for everyone, but I'm so used to the evening rhythm that's going to feel super early. But it's not what we're used to. And the back end of the season is going to be that way. The last 2 home games, I believe, are both early. And so it's going to catch us off guard.
Thanks for that. That's all I have.
Justin?
So just a quick question on the food bank thing on Saturday. It says 11 and over. Are they pretty hard on that?
No.
All right. Then I can take that last spot because I have my daughter. So,
Oh, okay.
and she's 9. So,
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure she's fine.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is creative.
Only real update is we got the finalized art back for tracing a couple days ago now. So we'll be getting a schedule put together soon so that we can get it published and try to get this thing knocked out because it took a little bit longer with some of the back and forth on the art. It is a much shorter timeline than we originally wanted. So there is a lot of work to do in a compressed timeline. So anybody that has time over the next couple of weeks, if you could plan to come out and do some tracing and painting, would much appreciate it.
Norm.
Brent, just so I can personally understand how much of my life I need to rearrange on a scale of 1 to 9.6, how much of a push do we need here to get this across the line?
Good question. It was originally slated to be a 3-panel. Think we can condense it down into 1. It's just going to stretch it. Might make it look a little funny, but it's a cartoon anyway. So I think it'll be okay to do that. So we're going to try to get it into 1 single panel to make it a little easier on us with the shorter timeline. So it just depends on how that looks. Courtney.
I'm sure you've already thought of this, but do you think we should try to push Will and them to see if we can trace it historic now that aviators are gone and most of the concert series for the time being are done?
Looking at the schedule, I think historic is a little busy right now. Fairgrounds a little busy. Also, I don't think that's something that they really want anymore. And if we're gonna do one panel, then honestly, it's not that much more advantageous. If we were doing 3, then yeah, I'd probably try it. But if we're able to get it into 1, doesn't make as much of a difference. Yeah, thank you. It was the car show this weekend. I knew there was something I was forgetting about. So. Did you have something else?
She doesn't know how to put her hand down.
No, I'm slow. Sorry.
Bethany, were you starting to say something?
I don't think so. And if I was, I don't remember what it was anymore. So.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing else for creative. Then we'll move on to game day.
So I know which game day. I'll defer to Paco. I yield my time to Paco.
I yield my time to Justin.
All right. So I've been, between having that nice little bug that's going around, and then my mom visiting, I've been out of the loop on Hell is Real. So I'll let Norm talk about the Hell is Real lottery.
Sure. Okay, so Hell's Real lottery is now done and complete, and invoices are done. We had 144 ticket requests in this year's lottery, which is down from, I want to say, in the range of 230 requests last year. There's a few things that changed this year. One, probably most saliently, the preparations for Hell's Real occurring over a 7-week break for the league had a significant impact. I mean, we saw a drop off on the website in a bunch of ways with engagement for the crew. I think that's a significant thing. And at the last board meeting, we set the price point for this, and we did increase our prices this year. And in general, the performance of the team has been middling to poor, depending on which week you're watching the team. So I think all those are contributors to interest levels being down. Where that did leave us is we had a relatively high rate of invoice payment, but we do still have tickets remaining. We have on target for 15 tickets remaining to sell, and we are going to be putting those up for sale this Saturday at noon. Because all lottery entrants were successful in the end, there wasn't a whole lot in regards to deposits that were extra, just the people who failed to pay their invoice, which was a relatively small number. And we knock out those 15 and we should be all good to go for Hell is Real. Questions relating to lottery or anyone curious about how this stuff went? Paco.
I don't have a question about it, Norm. I was just raising my hand because I was lying. I actually do have to do an update.
Okay. So Hell is Real will be done there. I'll do one more ticket thing and then pass over to Paco. Of course, Hell is Real is not our first game back. That is New York City on July 22nd. And it is going to be very important to get the word out that we are back up and that we have tickets to sell. And ticket sales are starting to slowly pack back up, and they may start too soon. But this is going to be a thing where, I mean, I personally have seen pretty poor advertising around the league and around the crew. I don't know if people can speak to that otherwise. I think it's going to be a repetition thing coming out of the break. So I'll pause there because Emily has a question.
I have an idea around kind of promoting that, and I think it would be silly if we missed this opportunity to promote it as Cruisemas in July. I don't know, maybe just an idea. Kind of hype that up.
I mean, it certainly can't hurt. I think that's certainly something that's there. The other things that are there are the more personal things. Welcoming Steven Moreira back from the World Cup. Potentially, depending on how the Max stuff goes, if he's still around, it might be one of his last games as a member of the crew. And of course, we have a new DP to welcome. And all of those are things that would start with the New York City game. So there's a bunch of different angles we can do with that. Cruisemas in July is certainly one of them. And we, I think all those are different angles to try. They can all go out differently, or we can talk about it differently. But it's going to be, I think people are going to wake up. I hope people are going to wake up, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, I would like to go out to a game. But it is just barely starting now, and we are less than 2 weeks out from that game. Questions around that before I move to other ticket things? Okay, so tickets, beyond this, between now and our next call, we do have 3 Leagues Cup home matches. And those, the Tuesday night games, which I want to say are, let's see, it's Atlas and Pumas. And those are Tuesday night games. Double check my thing here. Yep. And then Pachuca's a Friday night game. Now, the Tuesday night games, we do have limited tickets available. We did a motion earlier in the year, and we opted to purchase 30 tickets for each of those. So those Tuesday night games have limited numbers available, but we do need to sell them. And so we will need to push them, but the barrier to get them across the line will be much lower. And I think if we get the word out in the right places, that shouldn't be too much of a lift. The Friday night game against Pachuca is a bigger deal. It is a lot more tickets for us to move. There is a chance we could advertise it, 1, around the tailgate, and 2, around it being a Champions Cup final rematch, which it is. So between now and then, we'll need to do that. And before I pass over to Paco, I will circle back around to Hell is Real. On a personal note, just teasing what I have personally planned for Hell is Real. And if you know, you know, and then we'll move on. Paco, all yours.
All right, strap
Wait,
in, everybody.
sorry, Paco, before you go, around the Hell is Real, other extra ticket sales, Norm and I had an idea because of the awesome response that the newsletter is getting. If a separate, just one-time email could go out on Saturday morning at like 10 or 11, if you could schedule it with a link to purchase those remaining tickets. We noticed that the announcement that there were going to be extra tickets, literally people were clicking, trying to get them now. So I think people thought that they were on sale now. So we wondered if like just one little email being like, the last tickets are available, quick grab them, would be that. We think that would work really well. So if you don't mind comms scheduling that, we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, we can do that. Can you possibly throw something in the comms request channel so I don't forget? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, it's been a busy month for match day. So the recurring theme for tonight is just thanking Norm and Ashley and Justin for all the work and time that they've done this last month, since we've last met, for everything from building the tickets, invoices, products, lottery, Norm walking 2 miles with a drum strapped on his back. And then just all the other planning that we've been doing for our own little sprint season, when we finally really start kicking it off on the 22nd. It was just, thank you to Emily and all the community members that showed up and chanted and waved flags for the Pride Festival. That was really awesome and it's really great. I can't say enough about Norm drumming that day. So, if you, just thank him for doing that, because it was I walked with that drum for a little over a mile and a half and was miserable. So I know Norm was a real trooper getting through that. Our ongoing cleaning and organization of the Nordecke closet continues, and we continue to make pretty significant progress in there. We're identifying banners for match day, sections that they go in, banners that need help, banners that need to get out of the rotation. We are slowly organizing all of those things. This season, honestly, I think we spent over 8 hours in that closet just looking at every single banner that we own, to get it organized. And I think we're almost there. I think the finish line is coming up. As of today, all of current standing match day personnel should be trained in the new MLS smoke guidelines for game day. All waivers should be signed and have been sent over to the front office. We also did keep all of those copies. It was brought up to have the board cleared if they choose to, so we can schedule a time during our next board meeting. That way everybody's already here to get cleared. There's also an option if you guys want to, maybe we can you guys can come up to set up on a game day, and we could do the training at that point. I think it's easier if we do it virtually, and then we can electronically sign the form and then send it to Will. Our main priority this off season, with everything that they had going on, obviously with Post Malone and the NWSL game and the friendly and all that, was just getting our game day cleared. So we're really thankful to Will and Jared. They've held 3 of these sessions already for us. So to get it done. So I think as of today, where everybody is set. So we can, I guess, talk about it in Slack or later on or after this call or whatever for getting the board cleared if we can. Yeah, go ahead. I see a hand up. Bethany.
I just had a quick question with the closet reorganization. If we still needed new bins, because I get discounts and tax-free purchases from Home Depot through work, so I could at least save the org a little bit of money there if we did still need to purchase new ones.
Oh yeah, we need some new bins. So yeah.
I'm curious though, Bethany, what the price would be. Norm found a deal at Costco that bins are $6.99. And so we actually were going to go there on Friday and get them. So if you can compete with that price, we'll take you up on it. But so far, that's the best we've seen. And we were hoping to have them for Sunday when we go in to set up for the Burnley match, to trade out. But $6.99 is the best we found so far. So I think it'll be like $40 because we only need 6. So
are they like the standard 27-gallon size?
Norm, I don't remember what size they were. They're big, and they have lids, which I'm extra excited about. They're very stackable.
They're like the big black and yellow ones, like the really sturdy
black
ones.
and yellow, which is also kind of fun because there are colors. Yeah. Norm's looking it up. I don't remember exactly the size, but they are a good size for us.
Okay.
While I'm looking this up, I'm gonna prompt Paco. Since this is our public meeting, while I'm looking this up, would you give people like the 1-minute summary of what's going to look different about how smoke is deployed when we return to the stadium?
Yeah, the biggest one of the biggest things that we have going on for the training is that we're obviously not going to be doing any more crowd deployments within the section. The only smoke that will be deployed will be through the capo stands. There will be 2 metal bins per stand. So each person in the stand can light their own smoke and then immediately place it in the bin. That only really affects us within the stadium. Outside of the stadiums for like marches and those types of things, meet the teams, since we're out on the street and not necessarily on crew property, none of those regulations kind of happen, so we don't have to worry about any of those things. The training is good for 1 year, so we will have to do this again at the beginning of the year next year, or whenever that new calendar season starts. Ideally, we would like to get everybody in the room at the same time, so we're not doing a bunch of sessions at once. And then that way it's a good time too to kind of get together and we can kind of hang out, maybe do something afterwards. But so it is good for that 1 year. What else am I missing, Ashley?
Not much. The biggest change is no crowd deploys ever again. And then just on capo stands, and it's instead of holding, it's an immediate pull and drop. So those are the biggest changes. The trainings went really well. They were very thorough, and we read all 3 pages of the doc. So whenever, I do think that the next board meeting would be a great opportunity, if we don't mind taking the first like 20 minutes to schedule that. And anyone or I think the first 20 would be nice. Will would be more than happy to hop on and do that for us. So
If we as a board or decide to ever participate in a crowd deployment, you think TIFOs, think playoffs, those types of things, there would have to be a whole new waiver signed for that event. And there would be a whole new training for that event, so that everybody is on the same page and we all understand. It was made very clear to us within those 3 trainings of the MLS kind of really eyeballing clubs, really watching what clubs are doing with smoke. There are fines that are being sent out to various clubs for improper smoke handling. It's been made very clear that eyes will be, if there is a goal and there's going to be a smoke deployed, somebody from MLS is watching us. So we need to be very cognizant of that. So if that is something we decide in the future, if we do happen to make the playoffs or anything like that, that'll have to be a group decision in order to move forward with that. But that may be a future problem.
Just chipping in there, the tenor of how this has been discussed on their end is that we start here, and they, like Paco mentioned TIFOs, that was their example, but I also get the sense that the club may in the future say, oh, it's a really big game, we'd love for you to do crowd deploys. Because of this, the term that Jared has been using constantly is a reset, and I think that is a good term for how they are viewing it. That doesn't necessarily mean that's how we view it, right? But that is what has been conveyed to us. Like, they would have to apply to MLS for a variance for each time they would do something outside of this protocol. And that could be as simple as, they've also talked about on their end doing different things. So I know that pipes have been discussed, not in the way that we think of them, but like a tube that someone from the energy team would drop down. That's been name dropped before, but not in any way that makes me think it's coming anytime soon. Emily, go ahead.
No, I think that kind of goes back to what we kind of all thought, was that they kind of had dropped the ball, and there's that spot on the waiver that says exemption, and that was never addressed. We didn't know what that meant, what it was for, but I mean, if we are all connecting the dots, then it's pretty clear that they kind of messed that up.
Right. And the way that's been referred to us, and that exact spot was called out, I know Paco mentioned separate waivers. It's not only separate waivers, but the waivers that we would sign for any crowd deploy would be materially different. They would edit the waiver for the things that are okay and train us separately in the ways that it is okay.
And it would be only good for that game. And so even if we did the exact same thing, like say we do something for Hell is Real, and then we do something for the playoff game, even if it's the exact same thing, there would be a separate waiver for both.
So in terms of what we're talking about for smoke leading up to the second half, this is the baseline. But the way that they're talking about it makes me think that when they decide that it's important, they'll come to us and ask. And I'm not saying that, like, organizationally, we need to view it how we need to view it, both for the safety of our volunteers and for what we feel like is the best process. But that is the I didn't necessarily think that prior to these trainings, and now I thought it was just going to be a blanket, this is how it is. And it's clear that it's going to be malleable again at some point. That's unclear at this time. All right. I want to circle back around to the bins real quick if there aren't any questions on the smoke. These 27 gallons, which was the number that was cited before. I've dropped those in Slack. These look very similar, if not identical, to the bins that the nets were being stored in. So they're sizable bins that look sturdy and would hold up to hopefully several more years of abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a dupe for the ones at Home Depot, and they're $2 cheaper than at Home Depot. So yeah.
They also have on the Costco website it says it's available at the one at Easton. They have a 2-pack if you wanted to get smaller ones that are like half the size that are $13 for the 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's something for like some of the smaller, like, not everything's giant. Like for 2 sticks and that kind of stuff, if we wanted to pick some of those up too, just to have additional storage for some of those smaller banners so that they're not getting sandwiched and lost in the bigger bins.
I think it's certainly possible. I think my big question mark right now is how many of these large ones we can fit. I know our hope is that we have enough bins in the closet, and I'm going to defer to Paco and Ashley shortly on this, to fit basically our 3 tiers, and then extras for those tiers was kind of the hope.
Yeah, we've got a whole system now of like upper, lower, mid, and then we've got Pride, Capo stands / game specific, and then a whole LaGuardia bin because they also were kind enough to buy the yellow and black fabric that we sometimes put out to be extra festive, and that will fit in all those. So it'll probably be 6 bins, and then I like your idea, Alicia, of looking at maybe getting smaller ones if we need it. So I think step 1 is these big bins to see what's left over, and we'll know better after Sunday's game. So, and then I know Paco has more updates to go over too. But
I have one more thing to follow up on this. Apologies before I push to Paco. Just a reminder, because it is transfer season, that every time a player who may or may not have been on a TIFO at one point leaves the club, that means that a bunch of banners will be cycled out of circulation. So we have not yet done the inventory around Diego leaving, and I'm sure Diego won't be the only one to leave. We will need more rail banners, and some of that will be things that we will make, but as always, this is a broad crew community effort. So if this message makes it out beyond these the little window I have on my laptop, we are always accepting art to hang, and we will make new art as we need to, new rail banners as we need to, and we are probably going to need to and want to. We're going to have new players come in the club. That will mean that we're going to be inspired to do new things, and also we're going to lose a lot of things that we'd like to hang. So it's a pretty significant period of change for the club, and I think that's going to impact which banners we can hang in the near term.
But the Mafia banner's safe, right? We know where that's at, right?
It's been accounted for. We have seen it.
Pride one. We have both of them.
Totally kidding. Just kidding.
Paco.
Yeah, just really quick, because I know we've taken up a lot of time. just with the second half of the season, we do have a bunch of ideas and videos as far as match day coming out for the second half. We really want to keep pushing out those champ videos, talking with our supporters a little bit more, making more individual videos about like what we do within the section, what our community is doing, what it's like, and what are the benefits of being a Nordecke member. Obviously, we'd love to hear from our members and the community. If you have an idea, we're all ears. You can submit those to our game day email. You can come talk to me, Norm, Justin, Ashley, whoever. We're really excited about doing that and really getting some of those words out. Our sprint season's coming up. We've got 3 games this month. So Burnley Sunday, banners will be at 11. Same deal, cover my meds. We could always use your help if you want to come out and help us set up some of those banners. If not, we'll be tearing down. It's an early game, so if you want to tear down, that'd be awesome too. We'll be running regular run of show. I'm not really sure what the crowd is looking like. Asking Jared, he kind of mentioned it was going to be like a Leagues Cup game, so we'll be running same run of show as we normally do. So let's bring the energy, cheer on the boys, especially Steve and Max coming back. The rest of the team will have name tags since the first meet the team isn't until Tuesday, so don't quiz me on who our starters are right now. So first part, hell is. So the only thing that's decided at this time is that we will have a march. So you don't need to remember all the details, but we will be starting at Betty's around 5:20, and then usually we'll step off about 5:40, 5:45. So we'll take that same route under the bridge and then to meet the team. Really, everybody's welcome. So yeah, please come along. We'll also have banners, most likely probably at 11, but not, like I said, that's not confirmed at this point. We really do have something fun planned for a hard hat honoree that match, so we're really excited about that. Matt Freeze and the New York City squad are coming, so please make Columbus proud. Let's express all of our feelings about that. And yeah, that's it. If I'm missing anything, match day, let me know. Yeah, I see a bunch of hands up. Who's
I was
first?
first. I'm calling it. It's me.
All right, go, Madam Press.
If I don't know if will you guys make sure you rope Sarah into any projects regarding like memberships and stuff like that, so she can kind of get spins and ideas and work with that as well when you're doing those.
Yeah, of course. Sarah, where are you at?
I'm right here.
All right.
Are you talking about like videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah, if you have any ideas or specific asks, like we would love to collab. I know there had been an ask from this board, I think at the last meeting, to film around tailgate and at the actual games. I think this was your idea, Courtney, just asking people why they're part of Nordecke, not just the cement. So that is on top of my list to film in these next couple games back. But if there are more specific membership videos we want to make, I'm always happy to edit or film or whatever anyone needs. So
No, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Sarah and I, and I'll get more into this with bylaw stuff, but like just coming up with like what her specific role with memberships and stuff, just like kind of bounce with her, just keep her so she kind of knows what's going on with that in the conversation and those. Cause yeah, I do think that's a good idea for people to see, like, it's that clarity of like, oh, I thought it was just those people. Like, no, it's everybody, but just to like rope her in too, since she's been knocking it out, kind of taking over, and just to get more of that like membership aspect as well, like her and Maggie to get their feet on the ground with it.
And I don't even need to be like starring in videos or anything. I have some ideas though for things that we could be doing for membership, and not so much just like, hi, this is for our members. Look, we love our members, but more like, how are we getting more members and things going like outward and putting ourselves in the community that way. If that's even what the membership subcommittee is about, maybe that's not what it's even about. I don't know. So that's just my idea. I have a few things that I'd love to talk to you guys about. Okay, super. I'm done.
I'm done too. I don't know who was after me.
Emily.
Me. I just was going to ask about, you said that you have a hard hat honoree for the Hell is Real game. Can you talk to us about that? So we're kind of all in the loop.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. Yeah, so we wanted to do something kind of fun for Hard Hat Honoree that day, and kind of bring a little light to the game, and all of that. So there is a I don't know if everybody might know him or not. A gentleman named Jeremy who dresses up like a banana in the section. He also has sometimes his kids dress up like bananas in the section. And we thought it'd be fun to have the banana guy and his kids as the hard hat honoree for that day. I just thought it'd be kind of something fun. When folks see him on the screen, usually gets a pretty positive reaction. So we just thought it'd be a fun ask for a fun game. So.
Yeah, we do have the running list of like different supporters groups too. So the next couple we're running down the list. I know Queen Anne's is coming up, 9-6 is coming up, and there's one other one I can't remember that we reached out to, or are about to reach out to. So we do have the next couple ones. We're almost through highlighting our more active supporters groups. And then the hope is that we will have some sort of form where the community can like vote at large, or if you guys have people you want to highlight, because ultimately that would be the goal. But we thought we could at least start with the people who are showing up consistently for like tailgates and other community efforts. So
Just want to add, it might be too hard to do because these things are irregular, but there are times when we have some of our out of town supporters groups dropping in for games. And if we get wind of any of that happening, or if anyone does hear of that, make sure it gets to us, because that can always be an opportunity to highlight some of our out of town supporters that only get to 1 or 2 matches a year.
Yeah, logistically, and any heads up really helps. That's why we're 3 weeks out, and we're trying to at least kind of nail down our first 2 games. There won't be anything for Burnley as far as run a show. It's just going to be straight soccer. But we're really trying to lock down at least the 22nd, 25th game. They won't be doing anything for Pachuca because that's not really MLS. But and then we'll once we get back to regular season games, we'll start locking those other people down. That's all I have. So I yield my time if there's not any more questions.
Okay. If nothing else for game day, then I think Sarah is up next.
No, I really don't have anything because we're not spending much. However, we have a few new memberships that have come in, and they are all back ordering the shirt sizes that we do not have any more of. So I have 2 emails into Morgan asking him for information about pricing for a few different amounts, quantities, and I will bring it to the board and ask if we should buy those or if I should do something different whenever he does get back to me. So not today, but that's really the only thing I have, is that we need to buy some shirts, unfortunately. That's it.
Okay. Curtis, do you have travel updates?
No, all games for second half of the season are now posted and live on our website, other than obviously Hell is Real, where we'll do the normal lottery. The away leg for Hell is Real. But other than that, everything is posted. Sales are going to be very light this fall. Just, I think a lot of folks who wanted to spend money traveling to see a soccer game have visited the World Cup venues. But they are all up posted and available for our supporters who want to go.
Cool. Thanks, Curtis. I feel like we covered most everything for Hell is Real that's under new business, but is there anything else that we needed to discuss? Nope. Okay. Bylaws committee updates.
We are going to have our next meeting virtually on the 22nd, I think. Right now, there is big news out of the bylaws committee. We have talked to, we met with legal aid last month. I met with legal aid last month. We don't qualify for anything because we're a 501c7. But they did say that we could start a 501c3. So we're in the process of doing that. Emily and I are going to attend the state like webinar next week that they run that's basically how to start a 501c3 and what sort of stuff we need through to get recognized, and then find somebody to help us set that up. The advantage of this is we would qualify for grants and some other stuff. We have currently enough charitable donations that we can run that angle and not really have to have it go too far out of the way. It will alleviate some of the questions that like we've gotten that Brad had when he was doing memberships, and when he was doing some of the partnership things about how corporations can donate. It'll loosen some of their restrictions to be a 501c3 and sort of open everything up. Curtis has worked on an amendment that we need to get out once everything sort of calms down. So probably in late September, early October, to go to the membership for flipping the calendar and extending the current positions and moving the elections for the 27 year for that group. And then hopefully our timeline is by the spring to have everything sort of out and ready for review. But we want to get everything up and running for the 501c3 before the end of the year so that we can have that set and ready to go, at least for a January 1 start, and have everything ready for new donations and everything. But if anybody has any questions or you guys want any more information, you can feel free to let me know. Or if you have questions, I have answers maybe now.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Alicia, I was just going to jump in and maybe kind of expand upon everything. Everything you said is 100% accurate. But in one of the early meetings, we made the decision that we do all agree that the bylaws need basically a complete reworking and complete overhaul. But what we basically decided on was let's push that until basically a new set of bylaws that will go live next summer. So all we're doing, like the first step of order, is just to extend all of our positions for 6 months for the stub season. And then we'll do those two activities concurrently. So it just seemed cleaner. That way, the new bylaws, when they go into effect July 1, they don't have to reference the stub season because that will already be in history. So it'll just be a nice clean set of bylaws starting hopefully July 1 of 27.
And also just kind of the push for getting the 501c3 done and up and running by January 1 is that corporation or partnerships and corporations that we work with now and beyond pretty much set their donation giving starting January. So by like the end of the year, we can expand upon that, start reaching out to some of those bigger corporations, and they can look at our organization, what we're doing, and donate. And with a 501c3, they can donate more money and get better tax write-offs for themselves.
And then that money will go towards things like TIFO and some of our bigger expenditures so that we don't have to rely so much on everything coming out of membership money. And it will allow us to keep the organization that we currently have so that we can still have a membership base on one side and then the 501c3 sort of corporate foundation side to make things easier. The other thing is we may come to some of you guys. Courtney, I know, has already talked to Sarah, but we may try to set up meetings with everybody so that we know what exactly you do. We feel like this group has sort of figured out the best things about what their current positions are, and you guys have all sort of narrowed down like what the strengths and what are the necessities of your positions, so that we can make sure that those are in the bylaws. The current bylaws have game day as the same thing for ops and for like match day experience stuff. So we're just we want to clarify some of that stuff. So we may have questions specifically for the directors about what you do and what you feel should be included going forward. That has really been sort of the hallmark and the benchmarks of your positions, so that we can make sure that as we transition this with the 501c3, there will still only be one board. It will just sort of move people to the oversight of the other of the 501c3s. We won't have to run any other elections or anything like that, or deal with separate people.
It's still one board, but we're basically kind of splitting it into two divisions.
Yeah.
At least for paper, monthly meetings would still be the same. But like, it makes most sense to have like TIFO, community, maybe one other director on the 501c3, the remainders here. And then that way you still have that, like I said, it's a big umbrella, just kind of the board is just kind of split with that way, but it's still one board. It's still one corporation, if that makes sense.
So that sounds different from what we talked about, where like basically my understanding would be that anybody would be elected to the C7 board, and then you would have like a subset of them doing double duty, serving on the C7 board and the C3 board.
No, it's going to be, we would have to separate you out so that you can get all those benefits. So that you'd still be part of the greater board. There would just be, it is the same. There, yes, that subset would just exist over there overseeing the other thing. But you would still be a C7 on the C7 board as well. It wouldn't be you're getting booted over there and you're not part of the board at all.
Is it really just a matter of like where the money buckets fall?
Yeah, just to make sure that like if the TIFO person wants to apply for grants, then they are on the board for the C7. Or
Right.
if people want to donate to partnerships, that person's on the C7. The community person would be basically the president, probably, since it's the charitable organization for all intents and purposes. But everything would just be on paper as to where it goes. There's not really a hard determining line. The biggest line that we have that I was told was that we'd have to have a separate treasurer and separate bank accounts. So all that would have to be set up just to make sure that there is no sort of collusion or anything between the two the two that were not money laundering
Right.
is basically the only thing that they wanted to hammer in. But with the C3, we also qualify for a lot more like discounted and free help that we don't get as the C7.
Yeah.
So
And
that's the other
like
advantage.
you get the like forms and stuff like that for like TIFO supplies, it's tax free.
And I know we've talked about it before, but I just wanted to like repeat it, that like with the C3, a lot of organizations will only donate to that if they know it's staying within your organization and not being donated to a third party. So that the 3-7 would be the organization that would be able to donate like we're doing now. So I think that's the difference, but right?
Yeah, we'd be able to do we'd have to make it a foundation and then put it in so that we could donate out of the C7 as the Nordecke and just move the money from one organization to the other.
Got it.
But that's all I have for that.
Okay. Fundraising committee updates.
Finally heard back from the club. The earliest that we could be in the lot on July 18th would be 2 p.m. and they will not cover restrooms or have a dumpster out there for us to clean up afterward. So that's just something where we need to decide now that we have that information if we still want to move forward with that event or if we would be better off to move it to a different time and location.
I even asked if there were alternative options if we didn't do a porta pot, if we could have like early entrance onto the plaza or other. I said we were open to other options, but the answer was no.
So some other things that we've talked about, we've put out the ask for both monetary donations and also for like some items that we could potentially raffle off, because a raffle could happen whether or not we have that event. We could still do the raffle. So we're investigating some stuff with the website where we've tried to change some of the donation amounts so that we can accept higher amounts from people if they should choose to be so generous. But the website has some funky stuff going on where even though that change looks like it's been made, it's not actually showing up. So we're continuing to investigate some of that kind of stuff. I think that's about it as far as updates from us.
Norm, go ahead.
So the ask for the lot is pretty time sensitive. So should we have the conversation about whether we're moving ahead or not with it? Because we would need probably a full week to make sure we're getting the word out, and that would make it Saturday.
Let me just ask, what now, kind of having that information, do you see this kind of event potentially being if we were to move forward with it?
I think the only thing that I think you would kind of have to pare it down to just like the tailgate and the block party aspect. So we could still do some of the stuff that we were talking about. We could still truck in the dunk tank and organize a cornhole tournament and do some of that kind of more fun stuff. I feel like the supporter summit aspect of it would kind of go by the wayside, both for the reasons of reduced time and also the guest that we were trying to get is still in the process of like moving and doing some other stuff. So would likely not be able to be there to be a draw for that event. So yeah, I think it would be limited to more of the tailgate and block party type stuff that we planned.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead, Norm.
So then, is it safe to say that that the way you're viewing it, you don't think of this as a supporter summit, but more like a throwback tailgate?
Yeah, I think with, like I said, both with the now more limited amount of time, and not being able to get some of the people that we wanted there. Yeah, I think that's essentially the way to look at that.
I mean, I think that has value. I think that has novelty to certainly a subset of our membership that has the memory um, of the erector set. And that would, I mean, there's nothing like we need to hit certain number of spots for that to make sense, as far as I'm understanding it. So I think that that could move forward as its standalone thing. I guess my follow on would be thinking through how to make sure a supporter summit still happens.
Yeah. I don't know. That's something we can talk about at a later meeting, whether that's a fundraising or just the next board meeting or whatever. I'm kind of thinking off the top of my head right now that at this point in the season, it might just be something that happens between this season and next.
That's kind of what I was thinking, Bront, too. At this point, like, there's so many other things changing and happening right now that I think to kind of rush a supporter summit now, just to say that we did it, would be more of a disservice than having the standards. But I definitely think that could be something where we start looking at doing a supporter summit somewhere in between now and the sprint season and get people excited for that. That's just my 2 cents, but go ahead. I think Norm was first, then Justin.
Yeah, just trying to think through what we're trying to accomplish with the supporter summit. And one of the big things is trying to create reasons and enough time, frankly, to get everyone in one place to be engaged and to talk to the membership and get them out there. And I think that can happen irrespective of, like, I know, any mysterious person would be a draw for certain, but we're trying to get our people out to have a conversation with them. And I worry, are we as an organization going to handcuff ourselves for our other goals we're trying to achieve in all these committees and how to better market ourselves and, make sure we're providing value to the community and that we're connecting with our members if we're holding off on doing that because of these other side circumstances, which are, in my view, secondary to the core goal of the event.
Yeah, I think it's just that, like I said, especially with the limited amount of time in that lot, and being in the lot to begin with, which is not the most conducive for that kind of thing. We have ways that we think we could work it out and make it feasible, but it's less than ideal circumstances to begin with. And now you're reducing the time frame even more and cutting into some of the other stuff that we would be doing. So I don't feel like you could effectively do both on that same day with, essentially you can get in the lot at 2 and that game starts at 6. So you have 3.5 hours before people start cleaning up in order to go into a game. So I just don't feel like there's enough time to do both aspects of the event that we wanted. And therefore, like, the supporter summit would probably be not the best thing to do on that day in particular. And then looking out, and this is where I said, like, we can talk about it. We can look at dates and, figure out how to schedule something at some point, but the calendar fills up very quickly. So trying to, cram that thing in at some point in, that July to October timeframe when we have all kinds of games, and especially with so many midweek games in the later part of the year, I just feel like it's going to be difficult. Justin.
Yes, so kind of going back to the having just the tailgate on that day. I'm wondering maybe we would be better served if we take some of the aspects that we were going to do and incorporate them into existing tailgates. Because I'm just wondering from the standpoint of the draw to get people there was the supporter summit. That's what we were going to use as the draw. And without that, it's now essentially a tailgate for a Cappy game. And I love the Cappies, but let's just be honest, we had a hard enough time for people to go to a Cappy game where they were already in the stadium. So what do we think the draw is going to be if we take that away?
Can this even happen if there's no toilets? I just wanted to ask that real quick.
I mean, there were no toilets for Aviators tailgates, and people found ways. There were pea trees and
There's the track.
all sorts.
No. I'm not peeing at a tree. Sorry.
Joking, obviously.
There's a Waffle House down the road.
No.
Okay, I'm just trying to be realistic because everybody keeps talking about it, and I'm like, are we just skimming by the fact that there's no toilets? I just want to make sure that you guys are all like, yeah, we're good, no toilets. Just making sure we're that's still going forward like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be honest. Like, I'm actually kind of more in the direction that Justin was, where like I don't know, with not being able to do kind of the full slate of things that we wanted, I don't know if it's best to even try to do this. And open to hearing thoughts on that.
It's such a cool idea, and then has such the potential to be a huge, like, really amazing thing, but it takes more than a month of planning. Like, this is one of those things that you mention at the beginning of the year and go, all right, we have all these little subcategories of things we have to do for this event. This is how we're going to get it done before July. Like, I just don't think that's enough time. That's my opinion from a planning perspective.
And yeah, and I'm thinking we can incorporate some of the fundraising things that we wanted to do. Like if we wanted to, like, let's just say we can do a cornhole tournament at Hill is Real, charge X amount of dollars for people to be in it. And, it will have, the audience already there because it's Hell is Real. So I think we can incorporate a lot of that stuff into our current tailgates. So we can still kind of, reach the goal of what we were trying to do with that event. Just kind of, instead of doing it all at one time, it's now spread out. We can do some stuff at Hell is Real. We can do some stuff at Pachuca, some of the other games over the summer. And, and we can kind of make maybe that something continual that we do at a lot of these tailgates. And maybe it's the same thing. Maybe it's different things every time. But I think we can incorporate a lot of this stuff into the tailgates we have.
Alicia.
If we're going to have the supporters derby thing at the cage, why don't we just do the cornhole tournament at the cage and have that be the draw to come out for the supporters derby?
So what,
I think it makes sense to keep them separate.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying, I think it makes sense to keep them separate to not distract from the other.
I do think if we have stuff to include like raffle stuff, I think we can throw that at the supporters derby.
That I think does make sense.
Like particularly, I would say if we have like non-crew related stuff, like if we have a gift baskets from partners and stuff like that, that would make it conducive for FC Cincinnati people to buy as well. if it's not, it's not a crew related item and it's just kind of a general partner related item, they would be more apt to participate as well and be part of it.
You guys do know that cornhole was like invented in Cincinnati. So you could that's where the cornhole, all of their stuff is. So you might get people to participate, and it might be a draw for some of their supporters as well to have some other things than just come hang out and watch this hour-long tournament. I'm saying you're going to have an event. They have space to do that we could utilize, because he's talked about doing a cornhole tournament and cornhole stuff with us while we are there. I just think that it's a missed opportunity to not try to even if it's not a tournament, guinea pig some of these ideas to see if it brings, if you can get a draw to people to an event that they might not want to attend.
I'm not necessarily against it. I mean, because we have all the cornhole stuff, and if only 2 teams playing, we get $10. That's $10 we didn't have for free. And so I don't think there's a negative to doing one there at all, because it's no risk.
I don't think there's a negative to doing it either. I do think that there's already enough going on that day that we will be focusing on. And on top of getting ready for Hell is Real, I think that keeping it just the soccer tournament to simplify it might be the best route.
Courtney.
Okay. I didn't know who was next. Sorry. I don't know if everyone knows, but we can do more than one cornhole tournament. You
No,
could
only
do
one.
I'm amending that we can do multiple. So you could do as a draw, just to see if it gets engagement, that you do a little cornhole tournament there. It may be you get 2 teams and it's nothing, but you could just say, hey, while this is playing, if you want to do something, you could have cornhole and have Cincy versus Columbus. You could throw it out there and see if it gets any hits with this event. And if there's none, then there's none. Sorry, there weren't enough participants. But if you did do one little thing, it's not going to be as massive as when you do one at a tailgate. So it could just, you could do a little mini one, Columbus versus this. It's a supporter derby on the field, and I don't know what you call a cornhole, and on the board, I don't know, but something like that, essentially.
Norm.
Yeah, I just I'm not the only person to say this, but the supporter cup, I forget the official name for it. I apologize to Brad and et al. But that is going to be a hard enough event to pull off on its own. Shucks is to be able to. Thank you, Ashley. That's going to be hard enough to pull it off on its own, and I really fear trying to overcomplicate it to achieve so many other goals will just create more failure points. And I think, it's a really good idea to have a yearly competition we can build on. But it's something that needs to be executed well enough the first year that it can be built upon. And if we overload it with all these other hopes and dreams of things we wanted to do, I worry that it becomes really unwieldy. And I know that we have these other goals, but I just, don't want us to try to do too much at once and make up lost ground and then not accomplish any of our goals.
I had an idea if we did want to try to do some type of like silent auction or raffle, is like there may not be enough time for this, but like maybe if both sides tried to get some items from like local things, like we could have some of our local brewery partners and stuff like that. Maybe they have like some Rheingeist or like, I would say graders, but that would melt. But just like maybe we could try to make the things that people are raffling for or auctioning for could be more specialized to Cincy or Columbus.
Or just Ohio in general. I mean, we live in the same state.
No, we don't. They live in Kentucky.
God damn.
Fair, fair.
Also, ignore my husband in the background yelling when I said that.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in. I'm very sympathetic to kind of what Norm has said as well, just about these are great ideas, but I'm just worried doing a smaller number of things and executing it really well is going to be better received than, piling on a bunch and having, feeling a little discombobulated, because we're really 2 weeks. Yeah, we're like, shit, we're 15 days out right now from this. And I'm worried, it's been more work than we probably anticipated even getting to this point, and I'm really worried that if we start piling on more, it's going to come across as just not executed as well as we wanted it to be. And I do love these ideas. I mean, I think these are things we can definitely think about expanding in future years, and that we already have some other ideas as well. I just don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. I'm really, because that would really kill this event going forward.
Yeah, so we'll look at incorporating some of these ideas into tailgates throughout the rest of the season. That's a good call, Justin. But yeah, I think for right now, I would plan on not doing this event on the 18th and not adding any of this stuff to the supporter cup thing. Any other like questions or suggestions for fundraising? Cool.
Okay, membership committee.
I apologize for my cat that is on top of me. Unlike Brent, I have not heard back from the front office about our situation of getting a table set up in front of these games. I believe that was deflected as a Molly question, and then Molly was not on the FO call during our last call, so that question has still not gotten answered for me. And just like kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, we do have some plans to shoot videos for folks and to talk about the benefits of being a member, talk about benefits of the section and what we're doing. So we do have plans to start doing some of those individual videos. We probably won't shoot anything for Hell is Real just because of the game and the day, but for other home games, we do plan to get that started. There needs to be another scheduled meeting coming up, so I need to get ahead of that. But that's all I have for memberships. If anybody else has anything to add.
Can I just put record to put that on our agenda meeting for next week with the front office? And then Paco, we can put that on the agenda meeting, that's fine.
Yes,
That's also ask for Laura, not for Molly.
Lauren, go ahead.
On that front, as long as we're covering this, so I put out the call for FO stuff, and I checked the email, and the email for this month's meeting, it put it as the 4th Thursday, not the 3rd Thursday of the month. And I'm not sure if that's an error, so I might write to Will and see what because we had been doing previously 3rd Thursday of the month, which would put topics due tonight, but it might actually be the 4th Thursday of the month this month for whatever reason. But unless someone has a memory of that being an intentional change that I missed.
I think it's just, it may just be this month because it's so busy with everything coming back that he scheduled it because maybe not. Maybe we should ask.
I mean, that's a day after a game and 2 days before Hell is Real. So it's
Right.
not, you know.
Yeah, I think we asked him to move that. I think that is not an intentional. I think he just didn't know when they were scheduled.
Okay.
Because I think Jared gave him the understanding that I had was Jared was giving him full reign and was walking away. So it could just be that's when he scheduled it.
Norm, do you just want to send an email for that clarification then tomorrow?
I'll send it now while I'm thinking about it.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any open forum business? Okay. Well, if there's nothing for open forum, then I think that the official board meeting can be adjourned.
Do we need to have a new link for the other meeting?
Give me a second.